Hey everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you here by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial and Sigilite of the FLG, and I'm Seth, the Mad Dog, your competitive correspondent. Kicker, buddy, how you been?
Dude, Seth, I have been painting, and painting some more. Yes, if you are listening to our show, you should be watching our show live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so you could watch my beautiful hobby progress. I've been painting like a madman. Right there, Seth, is my shining spear squad. I don't know. I know you hate my Eldari army, but you know what's really satisfying is getting a completing an entire squad each week. So I'm just like pumping this army out. Like I'm just moving along. Last week was a 20 man block of Storm Guardians. Before that, it was some blade guard things, and now it's a squad of 3 shining spears. And it's really satisfying to just finish something in a week because I
Are you
usually take a
using
lot longer.
contrast?
I am using some contrast, but I'm using
Yeah.
it delicately, I guess.
Mhm.
So I'm using it where it makes sense, and I'm definitely thinning it down so I can do a wash and a dry brush over it, and then some highlights and stuff. So yeah, really enjoying that. I've also, when you paint a lot, you tend to listen to a lot of audiobooks, and
Hmm.
I've been knocking out audiobooks. Have you listened to the the Cadian series, like Cadia Stands, Cadia, whatever. It's the whole Imperial Guard
No,
series. There's like
no.
3 in the
Imperial
series.
Guard are the fodder in the books I read.
Well, it's a real. I think it's a 3-part series, and I just finished the 3rd one, and I think it's one of my favorite audiobooks I've listened to from GW outside of the Siege of the Horse Heresy Siege of Terra series. Like I really like that even more.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, dude? I mean, come on, I know you've been busy playing video games.
So our lovely producer Dickie has addicted me to a game called Elden Ring. So
Jeez.
I finished my first playthrough. I'm going to take a little break because I played a lot of Elden Ring. But I also started building just a backlog of town models that I bought because I want to with the new data site. I wanted to try some different builds. I don't think they're gonna be better than like just regular old crisis suits and commanders, but I
Mhm.
wanted to try something different, and it was an excuse for me to buy storm surges like I talked about last time.
Yeah.
There's been some shipping delays, so I still only have one.
Yeah, it's
Um,
your week for hobby progress, not mine. I was last week, so I was like, where's the towel? Where's
I
the towel?
tried to slam out a devilfish
All right.
for
All
this
right.
week, but I've never. Here's like proof that I'm a long-term Tau player because everyone seems to doubt me on the internet.
I believe you, Seth.
I have a very poorly assembled devilfish that I got in 3rd edition that I may be trying to put base coats on right now and just being like, man, this thing was built like fucking 14-year-old did it, which is true because that's about the age I was when I built that thing.
Yeah.
So it's been some, we'll call it creative painting, trying to make it look all right.
I
So
love it. I love it, man. You should
let's see.
just paint it like as if you were a 14-year-old. Just no washes, no nothing, no contrast in there. Just
I'm
nice
trying to get
flat.
it done, man. So
Yeah.
hopefully next week I'll have some pictures for you, but
Sweet.
not this week. It was not camera ready. Okay, you
Okay.
don't want to see the half done version.
It's gotta look sexy for the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. I before we jump into like the show, I have to ask, do you geez. Do you discriminate or I guess separate out video gamers from, tabletop war gamers? Like, are those one group of gamers, or do you actually distinguish between a tabletop gamer and a video gamer? Like, what are your thoughts on
I
this one?
would say that tabletop gamers are usually a subset of video gamers because
Okay.
basically everyone, you're one of like the lone exceptions, Kicker, of people that I know that play tabletop games that don't play video games on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But I know lots of people that play video games on a regular basis that don't play
Yeah.
tabletop games on a regular basis. So I kind of think of them as a subset. I don't
Yeah.
discriminate.
You don't discriminate. That's
I'm
good.
not like,
That's
oh,
good.
you play
That's good.
video games.
Well,
Let me show you my 27 rule books that I used to play my game with dice and plastic soldiers.
Okay. I think I was actually going to flip it the other way around. I was getting my teeth cleaned the other day and the dental hygienist was asking what I do for a living, and I'm like, well, I run these events. I'm part of a company that puts on events for tabletop wargaming, and she like. Tabletop wargaming? Whoa, what? Because she's a video gamer and a very avid video gamer, and loves Fortnite and all that. But she's like, "What is this weird, other form of gaming that doesn't involve technology?" So yeah, I had to try and explain it to her, and I don't think it really was of any interest whatsoever. But all right, well, that hurt my feelings. moving right along.
You're like, it's like video games, but on the table. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was like, but I mean, you get to paint pretty things. Okay, Seth, let's
Well, if
talk
she's a
about some new
video gamer,
products.
you should have been like, Total War Warhammer 3, that, but in
Yeah,
real life.
exactly. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Boom. So let's talk about a few new products coming out from a few of the companies out there. For starters, let's talk about the big box in the room. That's the $300 new Necromunda Ash Waste, and that yes, people, I just said that $300 for basically a starter box. Now that's a lot of that's a lot of fish sticks. I don't know. That's a lot of bread. That's dough. That's dinero. That's moolah, yin yang, dollar bill, cash, money. That's a
Does
lot of stuff
anyone
there.
measure currency in fish sticks?
I believe my toddler would because he loves fish sticks right now. But no, a little hefty. I'm sure you've seen the box and what it comes with, right, Seth?
Yeah, it comes with a lot. I think
Yeah.
if in terms of like, is it a good value? Like that's you're getting rules, you're getting dice, you're getting models, you're
You
getting
get all the tokens that come
all
with it.
the
Yeah.
tokens and the tchotchkes that you
Mhm.
need. You get the terrain, like you're getting all the rules. You're getting plenty of things for your money. You're getting
Yeah.
value there, but yeah, that's a pretty big barrier, to getting into that if you were
I mean, you
not already a hardcore
you
necromunda.
also get the privilege, right? The privilege of getting first access because I'm sure these will all be standalone sets eventually. But I mean, I'm
Yeah.
still waiting on the Eldar Corsairs, and so it takes time for these things to be all broken out. I think it is. I mean, I think it's decent value because you do get the rule book and all that, but it's just I was really interested in this purely for conversion potential. Like all the pieces for 40K. But at $300, I'm like, oh, that's a little too steep for me just for
Yeah.
funsies to buy.
I'd wait till some of those models at the secondhand market. I bet you can scoop them up then.
Yeah. Cool.
We have some comments in the chat.
Oh
Sorry,
shoot.
we can't highlight chat comments tonight. Sorry, folks, we're having minor technical issues. Tech Priest Sticky lent only 5 of the 7 correct incense before the show, so he was not able to summon Sir Val to get that final little bit. But in chat, Team Beerhammer said, "Kicker, here's a link explaining what Warhammer is to people."
I need to get that on a business
I want to see
card.
Kicker in like a dental chair with like a bunch of like things in his mouth, and like, "I just watched this video," and like hold it up for the dentist.
I mean, I seriously though, like I should just have a business card with like, this is my full-time job. Here, look at this. This is just go. This is what we do. Because as big as the hobby is, a lot of people still have just never even heard of this. Like, or this
Yeah.
is so foreign to them. All right, Joy Toy guys, those really sexy action figures are continually releasing stuff. I mean, I thought it was a joke, but no, they're still doing it. It's I think it's Blood Angels now. It's a whole squad of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and then
I'm
there's a
telling you,
health.
Kicker, we
Yeah.
can do a big scale version of 40K one of these days. At least
I
Kill
mean,
Team.
dude, 100%. And you could, I mean, I'll just go get some GI Joes and call them my Imperial Guard. We'll go, we'll do this. I'm ready to rock and roll.
How tall? How tall are the Joy Toys? We need to get like either like the 4-inch or the 6-inch GI Joes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, I think it's still gonna be the 4-inch, right? Because
Probably.
Space Marines are
Yeah.
massive, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Chat, I'm
oh,
gonna need you to research that. I need to know what size GI Joes we buy.
what are the appropriate GI Joe size to
Yeah.
play 40K?
I want to know what stormtrooper sizes we're gonna get so that we can really intermingle these
Oh
universes.
yeah, totally. I love it. Let's make it happen. Seth, I think we should do that live on air one day. Just
Oh
big.
God.
All right. Guys, let's talk about some other GW releases. It looks like the Chaos Knights. We know they're getting a brand new kit or two or upgrade to their kits. There's the War Dog kit and then the Big Boy Knight kit, and they've been showing more and more photos of these. But I'm getting a little
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they are gorgeous, right, Seth? I mean, like they got the crows on the back, they got the weird tentacle arm. I think there's a tail. There's the War Dog's got that cool like hound skull thing on his face. That looks pretty badass. But what I've noticed is a significant lack of Imperial Knight releases. What's going on there, dude?
All right. Put your Imperial bias aside, Kicker.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
They had all of the knights that we've basically seen up until like the first Chaos Knight Codex were all Imperial.
Cool.
So there was plenty of kits for the Imperials.
That's true.
There's plenty of Forge World upgrade kits for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And when Chaos got their kits, they were like, just paint your armatures like Chaos, and then
You got a War Dog.
So
it's a War Dog.
it's a War Dog now. So yeah, I think Chaos getting a little bit more spice on their models is cool. I have been keeping an eye out there on the stock situation, and it seems like it's easier to find Imperial like knights than Chaos knights right now, which really lends me to think that they are repackaging a lot of the Chaos kits.
Mhm.
So I would not be surprised to see a wide release whenever the codex drops
Yeah,
of, and here are the repackaged knights, because that's
fair enough. Yeah.
typically what GW does when they're repackaging kits. Is they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna send out any more of the old kit, so it dries up, and then when they repackage what they have in their warehouse from old boxing art with sprues to new box art with the correct sprues, and then they
Yeah, yeah.
spit it back out in the world.
Well, okay, so we're talking about all these chaos. We know there's at least 2 new chaos kits or
Mhm.
upgrades, right? We're talking. This is wonderful, right? Well, let's talk about the rules, and we know the rules are pretty solid. I mean, I'm gonna let you dive into that, but the first thing before we dive into the Chaos Knight rules and Imperial Knight rules that we're getting previewed is I feel like there's a slight imbalance because as of right now, there is no Psyker Knight for the Imperial side. There's just one to the Chaos. I'm like, whoa, that's like a little imbalance there. I mean, technically in the lore, I believe there is the Psyker Imperial Knights, right? Like that's a thing.
It wasn't the heresy. I don't know if Chad
Okay,
can
yeah.
correct me, but I don't know if it's in the current timeline lore that they have Psyker Knights.
The point is
Now,
that if
kicker,
Chaos
I'm
did a
not.
Psyker
I'm not
Knight,
saying that I know this for proof
all
positive,
right.
but I have heard some rumors from some folks that are fairly well informed that the Imperial Knights will not suffer for lack of a psyker.
Okay,
I
good.
think I think rules wise they will make up for it. Um, I'm
Well, because you understand a
Yeah,
Psyker brings in a lot, right, into what that army can do, right? Because you can do psychic actions, you can do the whole psychic secondary tree,
but you can still ally.
You can still ally.
Yeah,
That
like
is
it's
true. That is
both
true.
knights are very much a easy starting point army where it's like I can buy, 4 models,
Yeah.
5 models, get these hobbied up pretty quickly, get them on the table. And then they're also a good, like, I'm an Imperial Guard army kicker.
Yes, and I just
And
need to
I
add in a
and I
few,
want to add a
more
knight.
wounds
Okay,
that are
I'm going to
tough, yeah.
ally in a super heavy auxiliary, or I want a bunch of knights. The whole shtick of the loyal 32 was
Yeah,
I have my knights, and then 32 guardsmen came along for the
but
ride.
Seth, and we do, I mean, come on, we gotta be realistic. We know that allying or putting in 2 different armies, you lose a lot of the advantages that are key to ninth
It
edition
depends on the
codexes.
advantage.
Yeah,
Like custodes, they only lose
that's true.
their katas, which are good, but they're not like mandatory
Yeah,
to play
yeah, yeah.
that army.
But, like, the idea of AdMech losing some of their, not the
Yeah.
protocols, whatever it's called,
But
doctrine,
AdMech
whatever the hell
usually
it's.
have some AdMech and Knights usually have some
Yeah, it's a
rules
sort of
interaction to
buddy
allow them
thing.
to say, "Hey," but you're also saying AdMech to add psychers, buddy. AdMech don't add
Yeah,
psychers. You know that?
yeah. You're not getting
You
psychers,
know
you're right,
that?
you're right.
What army did you play
Yeah,
before
right.
you
I
were
I played
playing,
it, but just okay, I played some AdMech,
Orcs?
I played some AdMech,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
that's
right.
what I thought. That's what I
No
thought.
psychers and AdMech. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the rules that have been formally released, and if you wanna mention any ones that you have seen leaked, Seth, then feel free to do so. But Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, from what you've seen so far, what do you think is gonna be the more powerful of the 2, books?
Imperial.
Imperial, really? Okay,
Yeah.
why? Just like in a brief,
The
reason.
rumors that I have been hearing, they have I there has been a leaked version of the Chaos Knight Codex out on the internet for a
Mhm.
while now, and I have helped some folks prepare who are trying to learn that codex, play it into some things like orcs, um, and I was able to play to fairly close games.
Oh, well.
A few, and so I feel like in the right hands, you should be able to climb that mountain. But what they don't have is they don't have a ton of durability. From my understanding, Chaos Knights, any knight army, the big thing is act on full strat or on full like wounds. So
Mhm.
kicker, you and I are playing. I knock your knight down to 3
Yeah.
wounds. You're first being a turn. You're like, I'm gonna spend some CP, and
Boom,
that
1
thing's gonna
CP,
run
you're
like
good to go,
full,
yeah.
so I can have one more turn of good output from that.
Mhm.
The only way Chaos Knights get access to that is with the Nurgle mark.
Yeah, oof, and that's harsh, man.
So
That's
that's cutting out three
yeah.
quarters of the rules you might have access to. So versus like there are more durability strats in Imperial Knights, and Imperial Knights have some more damage strats.
But
Now
correct me if
obviously,
I'm wrong, but that's kind of how it was through 8th edition too, right? Imperial Knights were more defensive and Chaos
yeah,
Knights were more aggressive.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now Chad is saying that the Imperial Knights are getting their own version of litanies, similar to
okay.
like uh canticles
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. So they should be getting some rules to kind of offset not having a psyker. But I think from what I've heard of so far, Imperial Knights are probably going to be the winner.
Yeah.
Um,
From yeah.
aesthetically, Chaos Knights win. I'm
It's all
sorry.
about style, man.
Aesthetically,
Yeah, but okay, so
mm,
what is kind of cool is the new rules that have been released tie in very nicely with the more recent publications in terms of the lore. The idea of
mhm.
having the bondsman rule that that the big knights can kind of help control the baby knights. I love that the armatures. That's right out of the more recent books.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
do you know that rule? It's like basically the Questoris knights can kind of take control or help an armature
yeah.
class knight a little bit, be more accurate or something like that.
Yeah,
And I
because
love
before
this
all
stuff.
it was like you can have a reroll ones to hit. And
From one night, yeah, the preceptor,
you're like,
right?
"Mm, can I have more? And they're like, no. Mm.
That's all you got.
Yeah, they just said
Uh,
no. You're like, okay, well, thank you, sir.
and you only get that one reroll from that, like, what was it? From the Knight Preceptor, who was not
Yeah.
considered a very competitive knight as it was.
Mhm.
Seth, let's jump in
You
real
ran
fast.
that night in the first game we played, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because I
Canis
am so
Rags.
competitive. Guys, I want to talk a little bit of Frontline Gaming Company news. We
Mm.
have the secondhand shop. The guy that runs it asked me to kindly ask you guys. We have our eyes open looking for knights. What do you know? So if you have a knight and you want to sell it, the Frontline Gaming secondhand shop will pay you good money or store credit for that beautiful knight that you'd like for us to take off your hands. So reach out to the secondhand shop. You can find all the information on our website. We're also doing a big restock on the FLG website. So if you want to get any more minis, check it out. We just got a huge shipment in from various game systems, but mainly, of course, 40K. So if you're looking for those minis and you're having a hard time finding it, check out the Frontline Gaming website. You'll
And
probably find it.
conveniently,
Yeah,
perhaps Kicker, if you traded in some Knights Restore credit, you could get into
exactly. What
those
do you
new
know? It
minis.
just works like
So
that.
if
It's
you
so
want to
beautiful.
ride the wave of the meta chasers jumping over to Knights, you can cash in with Frontline Gaming.
There you go. There you go. Also, thank you, Seth. That was classy. Seth, well, paint. That's the other thing. Paint is still kind
Yes.
of hard to find sometimes,
Yeah,
and we have
sometimes,
a
yeah.
yeah. Well, we got you can get your rattle cans right now, or all those special paints you've been looking for on the website. Color Train. Also, we're doing our weekly Color Train. Monday we released a new set, so if you're still looking for that beautiful painted Frontline Gaming terrain, you can get it. The thing that's really nice is this is the exact terrain we use at the Frontline Gaming events. So if you're
Hmm.
going to ACO, BAO, Lone Star Open, SoCal, any of these events, you can use the most competitive terrain out there right now at your home, get some practice in, and be prepared for the event. And oh, hey, just gonna throw this out there. Don't You can start talking about it now in chat if Seth can record the responses. I'd love it, but I don't know how realistic that is. But guys,
I
this
have
is
the
your
power.
opportunity. Do you have the power? Guys, I'm really serious. Give me some ideas. What do you want us to make? Frontline Gaming literally just made a table. We can make anything and everything. So if you have an idea for the next
Jacuzzi.
Frontline Gaming product, a flamethrower, the Frontline Gaming flamethrower, I would
Now,
love that.
real talk, I want Frontline Gaming branded croupiers.
What did you call me?
Croupiers. That's the stick that people used in like olden times to push models around on big tables.
I mean, is that actually a word? Yes, we
Yes.
should be okay. All right, all right, all right. Seth, after the show, send me a link to like your ideal croup away. I don't know.
If I could spell it.
Yeah, your ideal stick thing you want, and seriously,
That
we
your
can make
job
this.
is to now figure out how to spell
Yeah,
croupier.
figure it out as well, Croupier. Tell me, and how much would you pay for one? Actually, we could probably get this as a really cool swag. You know what? We should make that as an amazing swag for LVO this year. I love this. All right, so guys, in chat, send us some
Yep,
ideas because
I'm copying them right now.
you're copying them. All right, cool. Because let's discuss it at the end of the show, and then I can take some notes down because I really am all about this moving forward. Okay, cool. Real fast, guys, we have the War Games for Warriors. This is a community-run charity tournament run by the Utah gaming community. All proceeds will be going to the Children's Miracle Network, hospitals, and Fisher House. The 40K tournament and Sigmar tournament this year will take place on the 11th and 12th of June in Lehi, Utah. This is from our wonderful friend and huge supporter of Frontline Gaming, just a giant community member. This is from Mario over in Utah. He's helping run this event, and it is amazing. And so we want to do a little shout out for him. So if you have another special event helping charity, or that's just a really awesome event we should talk about, feel free to email me so I can include it on next week's show. But yeah,
We are always
Mario.
happy to plug charity events. Charity events are
Gotta
a
love
great
it,
thing.
man.
Now,
Gotta
do
love
you
it.
know the fun fact about War Games for Warriors as it relates to our lovely friends here in the content production side of things?
No. What does this got to do with Dickie?
That
The
what
tech priest.
no, it doesn't have anything to do with
Oh,
Dickie.
okay. No,
That
no.
was the first event that Joe from Wargames live streamed.
No way.
So Joe's
Wow.
gonna be back there, yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. The Utah community is just an amazing community. I mean, all communities for 40K are pretty awesome, but I got to give a shout out to the Utah guys. They never stop surprising with just how damn nice they are. All right, guys, let's go down and talk about some of the frontline gaming stuff we got happening. Next up, well, we have BAO, which is great, but we have ACO happening, and I got some more information on that. We had a lot of issues or complaints, questions, concerns because food last year, that was 2021, ACO was not up to standards. Remember, that was the first real big boy event since the pandemic had peaked. So that was like that. We were lucky to even do an event in 2021 in Atlantic City. We did do one. We did it responsibly. We spaced everyone out, et cetera, et cetera. But the hotel itself was really not fully operational. So a lot of the restaurants weren't open in 2021. I am very happy to say that for 2022, I've got an ridiculously long list of restaurants that will be open at the resort that are all fully operational at the Atlantic City Harrah's. Multiple bars and restaurants all open late too, so you can actually go play 40K till your last round ends, and then go grab a bite at Gordon Ramsay's Steakhouse or go get some sushi or burger or something. So I know, Seth, last year that was something that was kind of a slog. It's like, where do we go now? And this year that should not be a problem. So. Also, I really want to encourage people to stay on site. There's a lot of reasons for this. First of all, it's just a better experience staying on site at any of the Frontline Gaming events, but specifically the Atlantic City Hotel. It's just you can roll out of bed, roll down, go down the elevator with your cart or your tray of your army and go play. It's just, not having to worry about hopping a cab or parking or anything like that. But also, guys, it really helps Frontline Gaming. The Atlantic City Open is going to be a very massive event. We're pretty happy with the numbers. Yeah, what? But we do not have as many people staying at the hotel as we would like, just because, we know there's other options. But if you're capable, we would really love for you to stay on site because, like I said, it's a better experience for you. It also helps us make ends meet. At the end of the day, though, we really want to try to help encourage people to stay on site. So I'm working on a few perks with the management. Probably next week, I'll be able to tell you what you'll be getting if you're staying on site. So if you've already got a room, you're squared away. You'll automatically get the stuff. But we'd like to encourage more people to stay on site. So next week, I should probably be able to tell you what kind of perks those will be. I don't want to say them yet till I know 100%. I know Seth was throwing some ideas out there. What was the one you were telling me in the pre-show, Seth?
So the thing I've seen in the last few Frontline Gaming events that I have been able to bypass because I work with you guys, but that registration line can get pretty long. So having priority registration for folks staying on site, I thought would be a really cool perk.
Yeah.
And Kicker and I were like, how feasible is that? It sounds like you might be able to make
It
that
sounds
happen,
like
buddy.
we should be able to do that. I mean, that should not be a thing, but I want to do even more than that. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe some really special swag from us. Maybe some credit automatically applied for you to spend at Frontline Gaming. Maybe access to a really cool VIP room in the club there. The ACO hotel, the Harris there has an amazing like pool club area, and if we can get a cool like VIP space just for our Frontline Gaming people, that would be awesome.
There were some questions in chat about the food. Is it going to be fully operational all day? Because some of them were only open partial.
So everything is open all day. I know some restaurants do close at 8, but those are the restaurants you would assume would close at 8. That's like the cafes and stuff, like the little coffee shops. The main restaurants should be open till 10 p.m. I think is when the earliest one closes up. Many I would say are open until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. There is one restaurant that closes on Sunday for whatever reason. It's the sushi restaurant. The sushi restaurant is closed Sunday, but it's open Friday, Saturdays, etc. Till late. So yeah, you should be fine, guys.
And then we have a YouTube comment that I think you'll enjoy. This
Love
is Ganny NG, which I assume means, NJ, which I assume means New Jersey, which is where this event is at. I'm telling you, you're not going to get a better deal in Atlantic City than the event room block. Harrah's isn't on the main strip, so it's sweet not having to commute in the morning.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. Thank you so much, Danny. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we actually do fight really hard to give you a really good room rate at the venue. Guys, just announced today. I think it was today. It was today. Yes, you can get your folding table, the Frontline Gaming folding table. If you want to get one, you don't want to have to worry about shipping, which is very expensive. You can pre-order one for pickup at the Frontline Gaming Atlantic City Open. So get on website.
I wonder if our Canadian friends that are complaining about not having Canadian shipping could cross the border
They can do
into
that. Yes,
Jersey.
do that. Come there. Drive to New Jersey, and then drive back up to Canada. Tech Priest Richie, Dickie, sorry. But no,
How
seriously, yeah,
far of is it a drive
it's a pretty
from
legit
Canada to
drive
New
from
Jersey?
Toronto to Atlantic City.
They're
Um,
close, right?
yeah, but it's all relative.
Yeah.
So yes, if you want a table, but you have to pre-order your tables. Please don't come up
Yes.
to us asking for a table if you didn't pre-order one, because you're not going to get one. And finally, Cruise Hammer, guys. I do want to encourage everyone to, if you're interested in getting a Cruise Hammer ticket, you've been thinking about it, not sure, get your ticket by the end of next week. After that, it's closed. You can't get one. You have to pay full price. You don't want to do that.
No.
All the coolest kids in the hobby will be there, and you get to hang out with it. Like we have family
Kicker, are
dinners.
you
Yeah,
going to be there?
hell yeah, I'm going to be there, man.
All right.
Yeah, you know it. So it's fun because you play while we're at sea, and then at the end of the day at 8 p.m. we all go to dinner together. So it's like you get to hang out all day long, like, as you know, we all have like meals in the dining hall at 8 p.m. together as a big family. And then while we're at port, you get to go hang out and see the sights with all of the with everyone else. My wife and I were talking about it because we were looking at the logistics of it, and it's like this trip is super easy because you the day before the cruise, you show up in Houston, and there's a hotel that for all of us there, and then you can
Mhm.
park your car at the hotel, and then there's a shuttle to take you to the cruise. So it's like, wow, it's just a really easy trip without a lot of stress to even think about it.
Yeah. And then,
And
like, once you get on the boat, you don't have to be like, where do we eat? They're like, there's
yeah,
plenty of
everything's
restaurants
here.
here.
Like, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't
So
stress about it. Yeah.
yeah, it takes a lot of, I know, kicker.
Yes.
I don't know if you've experienced this, but I know one of the things that drives me nuts when I'm going off on an event with my friends is where do we go to eat
Yeah.
after the game, and then the like trying to shove 27 people into cars and people
Yeah.
hanging
Oh my
off
god,
roof
it's such a
racks, and
shit
it's
show.
always a mess. So being able to just, and this is also at the casinos, being able to just walk out of the hall and be like, that restaurant over there, does
Yeah.
that sound good? And everyone's like, yeah. And then you walk over and you eat, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to go back to my room. And you don't have to be like, can I borrow a car to get back to my room? You're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm
Yeah.
just, you
It's
guys want to
all
keep
right
staying up
there.
and having a good night? Keep at it. I'm going to head to bed because
Yeah.
I go to bed early, folks.
Yeah, and it's all right there. The beautiful thing about the
Yeah.
cruise, right, is like it's all right there, and your table is reserved. Like you have a table reserved for you every single night with your name on it. So with you and all your 40 key friends right next to you, so you don't have
Yeah.
to stress about that. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. And the guys have been asking me to start working on the swag for Cruise Hammer, and the budget for the Cruise Hammer swag is comical. Like it is the best. It's gonna be way better than
Kicker,
anything we'd ever done
can you
before.
tell
So.
them what you've been trying to make happen?
No, I can't. I
Right?
can't. I can't. I can't. I mean, I guess I possibly no. I can't because if it doesn't happen, I don't want to get people's hopes up. But we will have things like probably trucker hats and sunglasses and all that stuff, and then some other apparel that
Can
I'm
we
really.
get fake Reese mustaches? Chat, would you like Reeseo branded fake mustaches?
By the way, Reese will be on the cruise, so you get
Ooh,
to
there could
hang
be
out
a
with them.
day
Yeah.
where everyone wears them
Oh my
and
god.
gets pictures with him. I'm sure he will
Oh, poor
love
guy.
this.
Seth, why don't you tell us what's happening in the FLGN right now,
Oh, I
so we
should
can
do my
leave Reese
job.
and his mustache alone?
Oh, okay. Game Changers released another episode this week with Steven Padro. Do you know who Steven is?
No, at all. But I saw the Facebook post on
Yeah.
it. I'm like, whoa, that guy, he kicking my ass.
Yeah, most people know him through SN Battle Reports, which is a pretty prominent YouTube channel. But he also runs a couple of large events in Gibraltar, which is where he lives. So there's the Gibraltar No Retreat and No Retreat Legends. They're like invite only events. They're really cool. And so it was a cool interview. I did not know that Steven used to be a championship dancer, made his own paintball team at one point. He's obviously does a bunch of YouTube and 40K, but also is like semi-pro MMA. Yeah, so it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like
Uh,
that just sounds like a really cool dude. Like
yeah,
I don't know anything about him, but he
yeah.
seems really really cool. I'd like to be your friend.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he does like his No Retreat Legends event that he did last year. He sent out these like super elaborate invites to a bunch of people with like boxes, like really intricate
Yeah, yeah.
looking boxes with the like scroll of your invite in there. It was really cool
Gosh,
looking.
jeez, I did
So
not
yeah,
get one of those.
we did not get invited. It's okay. We're not bitter.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm not staring at you, Stephen. Okay. Grim After Dark. I'm going to admit that I watched this episode and I discovered that someone had told Grimm that perhaps they should not be using making their own memes with Disney characters. So to avoid copyright issues and potential legal action, uh, we ended up replacing those Disney characters with my likeness, which is I think still opening them up to legal action. Just yeah, it's our producer Dickie told me that it's not me, it's Meth Oyster, apparently. Um, so that's nice. Anyway, so moving rapidly along. So our main segment tonight, if you actually remember a couple weeks ago, we had put the call out that we were going to do an episode about games to play besides 40K.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, due to commitments from our other members of the crew here, we weren't able to get that show out. So I thought this would be a good week, even with the balance data slate out and the game kind of coming back more into balance. I actually did a fair amount of work talking to a lot of the bigger TOs that run these events to get an idea of why should you play these games. And that's what I asked them. I said, hey, why should you play this game? Give me, some talking points, help me, if you're going to sell me on it, sell me on it. So the first one I want to talk
I
about,
think you should
Kicker.
preface this also, even if you love 40K, because a lot of us love 40K, it's also nice to have a palate cleanser, right? Just to mix it up a little bit.
Definitely.
And sometimes it's nice to bring in another game that you could start with a new friend of yours. Like you may make, like, I don't know, like my wife will not play 40K because I have a completely, totally big advantage to her because I've been playing this for years and she's never played it. But we could start a new game together and start out at equal footing.
Yeah.
All right, Seth, take it
So
away.
so the first system obviously is AOS.
Yes.
If you're in the 40K realm, AOS is a pretty easy hop, step, and a jump over. It's the same scale as 40K, so like same size of
Mhm.
army, but in a fantasy setting, obviously, it gets about the same amount of support. So you've got Games Workshop releasing new armies, new models, new rules. The edition cycle seems to be about the same length as 40K. From a statistics standpoint, it is a more balanced game with what they call a fat middle. So there's a lot of armies in that middle of the statistics. So there's a lot of options there to play, which means that ends up being more variety in what you can take to events.
Yeah.
Our lovely LVO TO Andrew had given me a lot of examples here. So last year's ITC winner Gavin Greigar takes a different army to each event, and apparently has quite the beard, I've been told. Bill Souza, previous ITC and LVO winner. He's the member of Team USA, likes to build counter meta armies with whatever model he thinks is fun, and he can still win with those. And then we have Emma Mangul, another Team USA member and one of the top finishers at Adepticon. She plays with very narrative focused lists. So people are able to take lists and build them from I just love that model, or I love the
Yeah, I love
narrative,
that.
or I just want to play something different and still find ways to win in this system, which is cool to hear. The game, 40K, a lot of times you'll hear talk about resource management. How many assets do I have? How much CP do I have? If I sacrifice this asset to get points, is it worth the trade? Andrew really described the game more as it's a game of risk management rather than a resource management system. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what you're getting into there.
Seth, you should also mention the community. The Age of Sigmar community is, I mean, you were at the LVO
Yeah,
award
yeah.
ceremony. The
Mhm.
the Age of Sigmar community can best be described as the life of the party. Like they are just so
I
much
I
fun.
have been at an event where the Age of Sigmar individuals felt that the 40K individuals weren't having enough fun, and their solution was to buy every 40K player a drink.
They are very generous,
They
and
are. So they felt that we were not partying hard enough. And so so they are a very generous community. I know a lot of guys that are in that community. They're a great group of folks. There are lots of fun is being had at their event. I frequently have been told that they look at 40K as the stuffy, not as fun event. So yeah, definitely they're having a good time.
Speaking of Age of Sigmar, I will tell you, I was looking at the numbers. Age of Sigmar at Atlantic City Open is massive. Like this is going to be big. I am very excited. The
20
growth
players, 30 players.
way more than that, dude. Yeah, way more than
Oh,
that. Yeah. I'm really excited because
that was me throwing shade at AOS because I'm a 40K player.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really big, and it's so like I thought last year was big, but no,
Yeah.
like yeah. Anyway, continue. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's okay. I'm used to it. We've been doing this almost a year now, bud. Kill Team. So Kill Team is another system that is an easy transition for a 40K player because you're going from a same universe of models into a smaller game space. So you can use a lot of the same models, a lot of the existing armies, but it's a smaller scale. So you're going from like a battalion format down to a skirmish format. That also means that we're going to be in a smaller game space. So the board size is about 22 by 30 in most cases. And because we're dealing with a smaller board and a smaller number of models, these games tend to be quicker. So we're talking about 1 to 1.5 hours is generally what I heard from Emmanuel in terms of length of a game.
The hobby time is nothing, right?
Yeah.
To get an army ready, yeah.
And you can have multiple armies pretty quickly because it's not as much of an investment. Kicker, how long have you been working on getting your Eldar army up to speed?
Yeah, like I'm still working on it, and it's been 3 months. So yeah.
Yeah. Versus painting effectively a single squad worth of models is enough for a Kill Team army. So you can definitely try a lot of different things with that. Try a bunch of different armies. It's good for folks with limited space. So if you don't have a lot of space in your gaming area, in your gaming store, or in your home, it's a really easy way to try to get a game in and scratch that itch without as much space. A lot of people like to try doing it as a slow grow. I'm going to start off playing Kill Team with 40K models and then slow grow into a full 40K army. I got warned, though, about that from Emmanuel. He says a lot of folks start that as their plan, what they're planning to grow out of Kill Team, but they end up getting sucked into the system and never finish their army and keep moving on to new, smaller armies for Kill Team. So you can go down the rabbit hole there. The rules are narratively driven, and team building is a system similar to Crusade Points. So if you like the Crusade system, it's reflected in there. They get lots of support with White Dwarf releases, FAQs, balance updates, and new box sets coming out pretty frequently. So a pretty well-supported system, definitely going to be around for a while. You're not going to have to worry about this one folding up shop and disappearing. So that's another great one. Kicker, have you messed around with Kill Team any?
I have played a little bit the first edition, and I really liked it. I really, really did. But I try to stick to one game system at a time. I kind of like the idea of grossly stereotyping the entire community for each game system. And so, like, Age of Sigmar was the life of the party. I gotta say, the Kill Team guys, at least at the events that we run, they are extremely competitive. Like, these guys are really focused. Like, as focused as we think we are. Yeah.
Do you remember how late they played at LVO?
Oh my gosh. Dude,
I know Tech Priest Dickie knows how late they played at LVO. Because they played past the shadow round on Saturday night. Yeah. We were leaving at 1 a.m. and they were still playing Kill Team.
Dedication, man. Dedication. All right. So talk to us about this other small skirmish.
So obviously those last two are GW systems.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone wants to play GW games. So the big dog in the market right now, the new kid on the block that's kind of shoving everyone right now. If I don't mention it, it's going to kill me. Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what Marvel is? Anyone?
Right? Anyone watching?
Are you familiar with any of these Marvel characters? Do you know who Spider-Man is?
What is this spider human?
What about Iron Man? Do you know who that is? Okay, so obviously it's in the Marvel universe. That means that there's tons of lore there. You've got all of the movies, comic books, TV shows, tons and tons of lore there. So you can go deep diving into learning all about your favorite characters. Folks that I've talked to play the game say it's easy to learn, but can still be quite strategic. So it's not scary to new players. So if you're trying to get friends into a game that maybe like don't normally play large games, it's easy to kind of pull them in because the rules are easy. The rules allow for creativity and really make you feel like a hero smashing into each other, which I think is really cool.
You also interact with the terrain too, which is kind of novel.
Yeah, right? Like Hulk can pick up cars and throw them and stuff. That's awesome. It's a smaller scale game, which means less space, less number of models. And a lot of the 40K folks that I know that got into this because we were used to playing on such a large scale and buying so many models and painting so many models, when it's like you can play a game with 3 or 4 models in MCP. So they're like, well, crap, I'm just going to buy everything. And they bought
Yeah.
like huge amounts of models and were able to build it and paint it really quickly because we're used to working on these large scales. So a smaller scale. So if you don't have a ton of time for hobby, or you want to do this as a side project, it's a great thing. It has been very well supported.
Yeah.
They not only are producing these models, are producing the rule set, they've made their own line of terrain that is
Mhm.
themed in the universe. Now, I don't know the scale if it's in a perfect match, but from what I've seen, a lot of other existing terrain that is out there. So, like if you have like the moon base ITC set, it's about the right size to play a similar game like MCP. So you can use existing terrain that you have, or if you want to get something very themey, they have their own. Um, Plus, everyone just seems to love being superheroes. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
I
As
mean,
superheroes, are they popular, Kicker?
yeah, right. I mean, everyone wants to be or a super villain, right? Let's be honest. There's always gonna be some bad people that have to be the bad guys, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
apparently,
yes,
you know
very
who
much.
Toad is? The X-Men bad guy, Toad. Apparently, he's like
Yes.
an awesome. Yeah. Anyway, I'm like, I totally plays Toad. Um,
I remember him from, I believe, his awful appearance in the original X-Men movie.
well, the community of MCP, I think, is a lot of it's first of all, it's a new game system, right? So the community is still
Yep.
morphing. This is the newest game system on your list. I
Yeah.
think it was released just before 2020, maybe 2020.
Yeah, it came out mid-COVID, if I remember correctly.
So the community culture for this game system is still developing, but what I see a lot of, it's a lot of people that play 40K that wanted to do something different. So you have a lot of the same
Yeah.
kind of guys that play 40K playing MCP, and yeah, they all speak very highly of it. So that's something to definitely
Yeah.
consider.
So this was an interesting comment from chat from Brian to Porkchop. MCP is a 10 models for any list, and each game is determined by threat size. You are basically never going to run all 10 minis, but you have options for each game. So it sounds almost like a sideboard.
Ooh, cool,
You come to a game with, here's my roster, and then depending on the game, these are the ones I'm actually taking into the game.
cool, 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 cool.
Which I always like that mechanic of sideboards.
Yeah,
I think that's interesting because, if you run into that opponent, you're like, man, they've got a really good list, and I don't
dude.
think I
Yeah,
match up. Having those tools to be like, all right, I'm gonna adjust my stuff on the fly to try to react. That's
I
actually one of the
wouldn't.
things I miss. Remember 8th edition, you could
Yeah.
choose like warlord traits and relics
Yes.
pre-game, and that was one of the things that
That
ninth
really
edition.
helps you prepare against certain
Yeah,
opponents. Like, it
because you
just
were like, "Oh crap, I'm playing the psychic army. Do I have an anti-psychic
yeah,
relic?
yeah, I
Good, I'm
could use
taking
this.
that.
Yeah,
Give me
boom.
that. I need
Yeah,
that."
yeah. I'll take 2 of those, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
please, thank you. Moving along. So yeah, so great game system. Everyone, it's Atomic Mass Games, which the next system we're going to talk about is also from Atomic Mass Games, and
Wow.
that's Legion.
Yeah.
Legion, there's been a number of different Star Wars miniature games that have tried to come into the space. There's been Armada, there's been Legion, there's been X-Wing. Legion seems to be the one that for now has kind of gained the most foothold in the community. So that's kind of why I picked that one.
It also is
Um,
most close. I mean, like Armada, X-wing are spaceships, not infantry, and
yeah,
we're playing. It's more closely
yeah.
related to 40Ks.
And Armada and X-Wing, we're talking about pre-painted miniatures. These are not pre-painted miniatures. Now that being said, I've seen some amazing paint jobs people have had done on those ships, so you can clearly go and paint those up and make them look great. But Legion, scale-wise, is very similar to like a mid-sized level game of 40K. Relatively simple rule set, fairly strong and friendly and positive community. But now that we have Atomic Games in charge here, they've got a new manager. The game used to be managed by FFG,
Yep.
Fantasy Flight Games. Fantasy Flight Games has managed a number of systems over the year and done well, but sometimes they're not the best company for longevity of a game. And I'm saying that as a guy that has played multiple FFG card game systems and had to watch the slow decline of his beloved game Netrunner. But that's another story. So with a new management team, that I was actually kind of curious, how well are they going to support an existing model game going forward? This is not, they make MCP. They clearly have their own baby in this market. How well are they going to support Legion, which may be trying to draw some of the same player base? Star Wars nerds and Marvel nerds are not too far apart on the spectrum, folks.
No, they're not. We all geeks.
So I was kind of worried that they're going to let that one die on the vine. They haven't. They've produced new FAQs. They've produced new erratas to help balance the game. So they have continued to support the system going forward, which is nice to see. So I was excited to see that. I also have to hand it to every event that I've been to that has run a Legion tournament. Legion has some of the best thematic terrain that I've
Mhm.
seen at events.
Yeah. 100%, man. I mean, it is the terrain itself. Each table is distinct and unique, and
Yeah, it literally looks like a scene out of one of the movies half
and
the
the
time
guys
I
spend
walk
just
over.
as much time on the terrain as they do on their army, which is
Yeah,
really, really impressive. And Frontline Gaming is fortunate enough to partner with the Legion community, so now we have enough for you know. I think we have 30 tables in our warehouse, so we can go
nice.
in, which is great. Yeah, and they're all beautifully and they were done by the Legion community, so each one's distinct and
Yeah,
special. The Legion community is so kind of stereotyping our communities. They are easily one of the most friendly, like just fun groups to hang out with in terms of that. Like when you see the tournament, like they're all friends, even though they're battling out competitively. They're still like helping tell the story of Star Wars, I guess, and they're all
yeah,
really into it. It's I don't know. Whenever I see their pre-event chats and their post-event ceremonies, like it's just a really cool community. That's I don't know. The best way I can say is super friendly. I think it's because they're all just huge Star Wars fans
yeah.
and geeking out over their tiny lightsabers and stuff. So yeah, um,
Wow. Judging the size of their lightsaber.
exactly right.
That's a low blow, man. That's a low blow. All right, let's get into some 40K news. Um, the balance data slate. It was out 2 weeks ago. We
Yes.
finally have some events now with that the data slate in effect. Now, the data coming out of last weekend did not include a lot of events running new NIDs,
Yeah.
and new NIDs are very, very strong. So take this result with a bit of grain of salt. The highest win percentage was still Harlequins at 67%. But then coming down from that, we have Tau and Custodes tied at 61%, and then followed by NIDS at 56, and then Craftworld at 54%.
Wow.
So 61 and 67% as our top winning armies is still high, but it's nowhere near the high watermark of like 79 for the Harlequins and
Yeah.
72, 73 for Tau and
But
Custodes.
67 for Harlequins is
Yeah,
legit, though, man.
it's
I mean,
still
yeah,
up there,
that's
but it's
big.
definitely come down a lot. So
Mhm.
obviously, the balanced data slate has had a good effect at reducing the win rate of those armies. It's probably going to get pushed down further as folks are now able to adjust to those armies and build lists that counter those armies. Because honestly, last weekend I probably couldn't have told you what a good Tau list was going to be coming. I had ideas, but I haven't had much time with it. Now, that being said, we know that we have the NID Codex kind of coming forward now, and it's going to be very strong. Um, we are going to see Chaos Knights hit the meta. I don't think they're going to have as big of an impact as Imperial Knights. Knights, although even if the Chaos Knights are that strong, Knights are always one of those armies, though, that if you don't prep for it in your list building, if you don't have a plan of how am I going to kill a knight,
Yep.
and someone puts one on the table across from you, you might just have a
Yeah.
very hard game of it. So even if they're always going to be in the mid tables, like I said, they're an easy army to start and pick up. So a lot of folks either new to the game or long-time hobbyists are just like, I want to try something new. I'm going to go buy me some Chaos Knights. This guy. Um,
Oh, come on, really?
I love the models and I
All right.
really want
All
to
right.
paint
All
them,
right.
but
Do
I
it.
gotta I can't let myself diverge from finishing all the Tau crap I
Yeah.
bought.
Within some
So
nights.
bought a lot
But
of Tau
but
crap.
whatever tournament you go to, whether it's a small
Yeah.
RTT or a major, there's always gonna be knights because
Yep.
it's just an
Yeah.
attractive army to play for many
It's
reasons.
giant fighting robots.
Yeah, right. Boom. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, who doesn't want those? So anyway, so it looks like we're heading in the right direction, but keep your eyes peeled to see what's going to happen when we have some of these new armies mix into the meta. How well do those work out? Because those armies really haven't seen any effective nerfs yet. Unlike Tau, Harlequin, and Custodes that got some very specific changes in that last balance data slate. Let's head in to the ITC recap, and then we'll get to all your lovely suggestions for
Oh,
Kicker,
geez.
as well as any more live questions that you have.
All right. Sweet, sweet,
Um,
sweet.
all right, for the 40K competitive track, our number one, still the reigning champ of the ITC, Manny Spammy Chima. I love you, Manny. I love you, but that name works too well. I'm sorry. I can't not say it. Number two, Matt Robinson. Number three, Thomas Ogden. Number four, Mike Porter. And number five, still in number five, Innes Wilson. Please, someone go to Scotland and take the NIDS away from that man. I'm afraid of what he will do to the poor Scottish youth with such a strong codex in his hands. Let's hop on over to the 40K hobby track. Our number one is Morgan Tempe. Number two, Jamie Pierazzolo. Number 3, Linton Rowan. Number 4, Jacob Thayer. And number 5, Eric Mullins. Now, kicker.
Yes.
I believe you went out and got us some pictures of Jacob's army.
And by going out, I mean Jacob messaged me.
No, you physically went out.
All right. Well, let's pull down Jacob's photos here. These are gorgeous. These are.
And now's the moment we get to find out if Tech Priest Dickie has the photos.
He should have the photos. He should have. So Jacob's a longtime orc player, and there we go. Boom.
Those are definitely not. Those are not. Those are.
There we go. There we go.
I was like, those were Dean Pritchard's NIDS. He was number.
Yeah, we have a few other people have sent in their photos. We're going to only try to do one a week. But yeah, right there. If you're watching, you should. If you're listening to our podcast live, you should be watching it and seeing these beautiful photos of these orcs. He's got a kick-ass squig. One of those squig boss. He's got dude. He's got a jack. The battle board thing just looks awesome. The display board looks so badass. But Jacob, he is an amazing painter, so I'm sure you'll be seeing him at some events. I believe he's going to be at Atlantic City Open and the Lone Star Open. So look for his army.
I would not be surprised. The man travels very well.
Yeah, he does.
All right, let's hop on over to the AOS competitive track. Our number 1. I might have deleted it from my notes.
Oh, I got you.
I was waiting for the lovely Tech Priest. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Number 1 is Thomas Guan. Number 2, Jordan Duncan. Number 3, Matt Naguin. Number 4, Levin Sichanava. I hope I said that right, Levin. I'm sorry.
Sounds good.
Number 5 is Mitch Kawaja. I feel like, I'm not judging you, AOS, but I feel like you guys are intentionally putting the guys with the harder to pronounce names at the top. I'm being honest here, okay? You're really trying me. All right, let's get to some AOS hobby track, because I definitely have those. They're labeled as competitive track, but I know they're not. Number 1 is Matt Abbott. Number 2, Robert Snyder, which no one has proven to me yet is not Ryan Snyder, just playing 40K or playing AOS instead of 40K. Number 3, Tim Ham. And number 4, Carl Rohr, followed by our new guy placing, Aaron Newbaum.
All right, sweet. Welcome to the club, Aaron.
All right, so kicker.
Yeah.
When you asked chat for some suggestions on what Frontline Gaming should make product-wise,
all right,
here's what I got.
Oh, geez.
Squat terrain.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. I like that.
Legions of Vultan.
Yeah. So we don't use squad is derogatory. We use the appropriate name, Legions of Vultan. All right, Legion. Okay, I like that. I like.
Now this is a bit self-serving.
Okay.
Eldar terrain.
Yes. I don't think there's really an Eldar terrain set out there. Period. I haven't seen like 3D files for it.
If only someone who plays Eldar has some influence of Frontline Gaming could perhaps.
Maybe we can make some Eldar terrain. All right, I like it. I think we got to get somebody that's creative enough to come up, because that's going to be like an art right there to create that, so it looks right.
Yep.
Okay, sweet.
So another suggestion was status trackers, things like +1 to hit, -1 to hit, things like that. So
little tokens and stuff.
Because part of the ITC rules is you have to have cards or tokens for these things.
Yes.
A lot of times you can't have cards, but there are a lot of abilities that are on data sheets. For instance, when playing Tau, there's like a boatload of command phase abilities, and I don't have cards for those because they're not part of the cards. They're not a stratagem. So making those types of things would be a nice little.
And cards are nice, but they also take up a lot of space on the table itself. Yeah. The smaller token is.
And I've seen a lot of folks make custom like buttons that do that.
All right, cool.
I think there's definitely a thing to do there. Someone suggested a croupier.
That's what I asked. All right. Is that actually spelled correctly? I'm seeing the notes right there.
Yes. I asked chat on it, and that's what they said.
For the movie stick, guys, it's spelled Croupier. That is definitely a French word. All right, sweet.
Kicker. I put an example of one in chat later in our Discord chat if you want to look at that.
All right, I will
later. We're not on there. Necron colored terrain set.
Yeah. Cool.
I think you could do a lot with the existing terrain sets.
Yeah, so we're doing the Gothic runes right now, orcs, and you guys, we obviously have a lot of Frontline Gaming sets already ready to rock and roll, and we do have a Necron set. I'm sure that one will be rolling out hopefully sooner than later.
All right, now we're starting to get into a little bit of a repeat here. Wound counters, turn widgets, tape measures, and maybe a travel cart for army transport between tables.
Yeah, cool.
And we have seen a lot of folks, self-included, use those foldable carts.
Yeah.
They're really handy. Now I think we're starting to get into some fun ones.
All right.
Small music stand for holding books next to the table.
I mean, that's a little OCD, right? You got to have your. I mean, I guess we could have.
Oh, you haven't got to the next one yet.
Should we do bookmarks? Should we do bookmarks so that you could, bookmark the page in the codex so you could.
You has been doing bookmarks with their limited edition books each month. We could definitely add some.
There we go. All right.
So the last one, a tool belt for dice and small books, rulers, and counters. I think we could have a full Frontline Gaming branded, tokens and dice and tool
Dude,
belt and tape
but
measure.
it's not going to be a tool belt. It's going to be a bandolier because that just you know you're going to look like the
Bandolier.
coolest guy in the Las Vegas resort, walking to the casino with your bandolier of dice. And
they might question you if you walk up to a craps table, though.
Yeah,
They're like, "Hey, what? No,
what's going on here?"
no,
Yeah,
sir, you can't
I
play."
love it. I love it.
All right, chat. What questions you got for us? We have taken all your
We have a
suggestions
few
to
minutes
heart.
left. Yeah.
We do have a few
Well,
minutes left.
yeah.
Chat is upset that I don't have my own DACA shack. Sorry to
Did
hear
you
that,
ever
chat.
finish your display board? I know that you were working on one for your work since it's finished.
Yeah, I showed pictures of it on the stream.
You have. Yeah, I know you have, but I don't pay attention. You know that I have like the goldfish memory here. I can't remember shit, man. That's why I jump from army to army because I have to.
Chat, save me.
All right, no, but Seth, honestly though, do you think a display board is something that everyone should have? Like, I mean, do you think that's a basic item?
I don't think it's I think if you're like I'll be honest, if I have to fly to an event, I don't take a display board.
Yeah.
And I've seen people that made display boards that collapse up and fly. Godspeed, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that, but geez.
I think if you're going to compete for a best painted award and that's what you want to do, then you definitely need a display board.
Yeah.
And you can be obviously the more creative, the better. I've seen, guys do display boards that are just a simple, sheet of like my first display board was basically like a sheet of foam with some texture stuff on it and some rocks and some snow, to make it look sort of like my towel basing. But obviously you can get way more complex than that as time goes.
But something simple is like infinitely better than nothing at all, even if it's something super basic. I was at the GW event last year, and like they wanted to take photos of my army, and I just put it on the table, and you could tell the look of defeat in the photographer's eyes. Is like you can't put it.
Yeah, I had the same problem when I was at the GW event. I was like,
"Oh, I'm sorry." All right. Do we got it?
No questions from chat tonight, unfortunately. Sorry, chat. I think that we still have been managing to go despite keeping it brief in our pre-show talk for an hour tonight. Kicker, do you have any final thoughts for the night?
No, guys. I look forward to next week's episode and hopefully being able to share some more news for you guys.
Yeah, and it's Kicker's new hairstyle, folks. That's what he's
new hairstyle. Yeah, I am gonna go get a haircut because my hair's gotten way too long.
Man, look at how shaggy and unkempt he looks, chat. Look at that. Look at that. I look stunningly beautiful every week for you guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Good night, guys.